Bearish divergence signal yesterday signal a top in the equity markets. We'll be looking at that today, of course. Hello, fellow traders everywhere. Adam Hewison here, co-founder of MarketClub, with your midday market update for Wednesday, the 4th of April. Crude oil pulls back. Is this a buying opportunity? Gold crashes, no surprise to MarketClub members. And we'll also be looking at three stocks on the move today: SanDisk, SNDK, Avon Products, and Frontier Communications. So let's get started right away. But first, we have our MarketClub TV show today. You can give us a call at 410-867-2100, extension 129. Ask us any questions about the markets, and we'll do our very, very best to get your questions on the air. Or you can email us at marketclubtv@ino.com. Once again, email marketclubtv, all one word, @ino.com. Now let's get started with the show and go right to our portfolio manager, and we're starting off on the S&P 500 as we normally do. Now, this is one of the biggest moves we've seen in the S&P for a while, certainly on the downside. We've gone from a plus 100 to a plus 55, which means it's a trading range. We're down over 1.15%, and the NASDAQ is having its worst day of the year so far. So let's go take some of these indicators off, get a little closer to the world we're looking at, and this is what we're looking at so far in the S&P 500. This is a daily chart for 3 months, candlestick charts. We have the Donchian trading channel on here, as well as the PSAR, and you can see right today at 1392.78, the PSAR will turn negative, meaning that it will go above the level here. Now, the one thing we've talked about with the Donchian trade channels, the market tends to go out of the channel and come back in, out, come back in, out, come back in. So generally speaking, we're still bullish on this market. The big level I think to watch for is going to be the 1386 level. If we go below that, then that's going to cause a little more serious problems for this market. But generally speaking, with our trade triangles, you can see quite clearly we are still very positive from 1292 and 1378. And we still like this market on the upside. We're looking for a 1550 target zone to 1600 on this particular market. So let's stay tuned for that one. Looking at the next equity market, that's the Dow Jones, and you can see that's more of a negative there, and the PSAR is over this market now, so it indicates that we see more of a pressure. But right now, we're pretty much in the support area, the midpoint of the Donchian trade channel. We've got our monthly and weekly still positive. We are in a trading range, which means you should be looking at the Donchian trade channels, as well as the Williams percent R. You can see the Williams percent R is back down to an area where I think it's going to begin to find support. We may spend a couple more days before the holiday in this lower range, but I think generally speaking, we're going to see this market improve from these levels. So looking at the next market, the NASDAQ, which is really having its worst day of the year, and that's probably thanks to Apple, which is actually, surprise, it's down today. And you can see that's actually been on the negative for the last several days, and certainly today culminates that. But that market also has support coming in around the 3,044 area. So another 15, 16 points. It's still in a support area. Monthly, weekly, positive, still like the trend in this market. So it's still plus 75, so it's still looking good. So next market we're looking at is spot silver. Spot silver really kind of took it on the chin today, but we still have our monthly that's up. But you can see we're at the lower end of the Donchian trade channel. We just had a PSAR come in there. But if you may recall, we were looking for this market to make its lows towards the end of March, beginning of April. We're in that mode right now. I think if we look at this constructively, I think we'll see this market regroup. I think we saw a lot of liquidation today. I think people said, why do I want to be in precious metals if the stocks are doing so well? Well, the stocks aren't doing so well today, so I think some people will be rethinking that equation. But nonetheless, the longer-term monthly is up. The weekly and the daily are down, so there's no reason to jump in here and buy it. Certainly on a down day like today, you want to just give this market some time to breathe and recoup. But you can see our Donchian trade channels comes in right pretty much where the lows are. We're looking for 3020. I believe 3020 was the Fibonacci retracement level on silver. But let's look at gold, where more people are trading in the gold market than in silver. And as you can see, the gold market has moved out of the Donchian trade channel. And as you say, every time it moves out of the Donchian trade channel, like here and here, it tends to move back in. So I think we're going to see this market move back in. Certainly, this is a spot market. We were looking for a Fibonacci retracement here. If you may remember, I'll scope this out just a little bit more. Put our Fibonacci indicator. Just click on the Fibonacci, like a shell looking here, and you see a little yellow box comes in here. Just click on the highs and drag it down to the lows. And you can see we're pretty much right on the money in terms of the Fibonacci retracement. So I think, for the most part, I think the downward pressure, if you go further down on this, you can see that we're very oversold. Very similar to our period back here and here. There's the divergence. So once we're getting down to these very oversold conditions, I think we need a couple of days to maybe regroup. But I think gold will bounce back from these levels. We've just lost approximately $70 from the recent highs. Certainly 1,700, you may remember we talked about as a major resistance zone for this market, and that's exactly what happened. So I think for the moment, you have to say that gold is going to be on the defensive, but I think it's going to regroup probably next week. But we need to see some action to turn our trade triangles green as opposed to red right now. For the moment, we have to conclude that the trend is down with a minus 90 signal. Looking at copper, if you may remember the 395 level, we talked about that yesterday. That was like really a line in the sand almost, because we just sort of stopped dead at that level. And there was the resistance. Now we're getting back to an area really of support, which is the 3.75. So I think generally speaking, we've got a monthly and a weekly positive. So the trend is up. This is a pullback. I'd like to see this market sort of regroup a little bit before jumping in front of this freight train on the downside. So let's see how that works out. Let's see how this level holds here, the support level, and we'll go from there. So let's go back to our next market. The next market we're looking at is going to be the crude oil. Now, crude oil, pretty much the same there. The monthly is still positive. And if we do our Fibonacci retracement, which we'll do right now, you'll see pretty much on the money, the Fibonacci retracement came in. This is an area. I was surprised to see the double bottom, which I thought was going to hold, be taken out. But once again, we've moved outside of the Donchian trade channel. Look at how it did this before. It bounced back here, bounced here. So I think we'll see a bounce probably coming in next week in this market. But for the most part, we're looking for this market to make its highs in the April-May period. So I think we're going to see this market improve from current levels. So let's just see how that plays out. But generally speaking, the longer-term trend is positive, and I think we're going to see that market, as I say, we're looking for the April-May period to be a high, so I think we could see a rally coming in from the Fibonacci retracement level. So what we would ideally like to see, and this is, markets are the markets, they'll tell us what we want to do, but we'd like to see this market sort of just regroup around these levels and have several days and then begin to take off on the upside. We are still bullish based on our monthly trade triangle on crude oil. So let's clear the screen and let's go to our next market. The next market we're looking at is going to be the USO. Same pattern there. We moved outside of the Donchian trade channel, and I expect to see it move back in, just like we did here and here and here. So let's go to our next market, and that's going to be the euro dollar. The euro dollar is under pressure today. It actually was down yesterday dramatically. We talked about these several days, sideways, 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 and the pullback to yesterday, and of course we're following through today. But nonetheless, this market is in a 65 range. It's a trading range, so you can just quickly look at this market. It's a question of how bad's the dollar in regards to how good is the euro. So here you have really that's the trading range. It's 134 on the upside, and you're looking at probably 130 on the downside. So that's pretty much where things are. So I would not be surprised to see this market regroup and chop around some more. But the longer term trend in the euro is negative against the dollar. That's based on our monthly trade triangles. We need to see this one turn, this weekly trade triangle, which is green, turn red. And once that does, then we'll give a bigger score. We'll be down to probably 90 if we get that kicked in. So let's see how that plays out. And let's go to our next market. And the next market is going to be the dollar index, which is pretty much the same mirror image. You can see we looked at yesterday, we looked at this market with the divergence. Remember the divergence we talked about? Let me just show you that again, because this is a pretty interesting thing. Same thing happened with the equity markets, and we'll show you here. So here's the divergence. We had a move up like that, you see. and you had a move down in price. It's very interesting just when that happens. So we lost its momentum on the downside. It caused a short covering rally and some new buying, of course. But that's a positive divergence. And let me just scope this out, clear the screen, and let me go back to the portfolio, because what I want to do is just share with you a negative divergence. We talked about this yesterday. That's just gone to 75 on. So there was the negative divergence. We're making. This is the S&P 500. So here we are making new highs like this, and we're making new lows there. That's usually a sign that the market's running out of gas, and that's what we talked about yesterday, the dark cloud cover confirming today. So that's what we were discussing yesterday. So let's clear the screen off, go to our next market. And the next market we're going to be looking at is going to be the Reuters-Jefferies CRB index. This is a sign of inflation, and if you look at this market, we've pulled back to an area of support. We talked about the 306 area, 305, 307, around this area as a support area. And I think this is going to be very telling because it looks like a possible double bottom. And we'll just have to see if that holds. But generally speaking, this is where the market's finding support at the lower end of its downtrend trade channel. And also we are looking at this market, it's had a pullback in the level here too. So I think generally speaking, if we go over the 312 area, I would say, and let me give you an illustration of what I think could possibly happen. So this would be a very important level here, the 312. If we go over that, it may take several days, but if we go over that, then I think this is definitely a confirmed double bottom. We've got a pivot point. So I would say we'd be looking at the next level, be 318, which is probably at that time the top of the downtrend trade channel. So let's scope that out. Go to our next market, and the next market we're going to be looking at, I think we're going to be looking at a couple of stocks right now. First one is SanDisk. Under a lot of pressure today, minus 100, so you know the trend is clearly down. And we had a monthly come into this market, and you can see it hit at 45.43. The market's at 45.41, so it's right around the current levels. But that's a big miss in SanDisk, way out of the channel. It's probably going to regroup here. I don't think I'd be a seller here, but we can look and see how this market's done. Let's just take the monthlies off, and let's just take the daily. Let's just go to a monthly chart. And yeah, you can see, so we're down, way down here. So yes, could it get down to 35? Absolutely, that would be the lower part of the range. But the potential exists also in this market, and I think it's worth noting is that you can see all the resistance right here at 55. I mean, tons and tons of times it's tried to get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, didn't do it, and this is going to be a pivot point right here at the 35 level. If we go through 35, then I think we'd be looking at something a lot lower in this market, possibly down to about the 15 level, which takes it back all the way back to the low quarter of 2009. So let's clear the screen, go to our next market, and the next market we're going to be looking at is a stock that's on the move, and it's moving Avon. Remember Avon? That's on a very big plus. Let me go to a daily chart on that because it'll give you a better picture. And let's just go to the last 3 months. And you can know we talked about Avon a couple of days ago. This is still a very positive picture, dynamic picture. We have a plus 100. Of course, it's up today. One of the few stocks that are really positive, up 2.74%. And it's looking very, very good. So let's see how things play out. But generally speaking, I think if we were to say that Avon's regrouping here and at a higher level, I think that would be a positive statement. So don't forget, give us a call tonight. Call 410-867-2100, extension 129, and leave a message. We go on the air at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, just after the market closes. And also you can email your questions at marketclubtv@ino.com. My name is Adam Hewison. I'm happy to give you these daily updates, and I hope you're enjoying them, and I hope you're learning something from them. And of course, if you're not a Market Club member, become a Market Club member. You'll see the difference. I'm Adam Hewison for Market Club. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great day.